Checking from left to right, away from home. Toronto 2-8-3.
We've got,
be good.
Sorry, excuse me, what were you saying?
That'll be Mirabelli on the kickoff. Looking for Edwards. Ruggles gets the head on it. Ruggles, only his 7th appearance of the season for the 23-year-old. Ugarte plays it off of Gaudinho. And a throw in here for the Rhinos.
We've got Canardo Forbes in more of a central role, closer to that playmaking role that he does really thrive in. So going to be an exciting game for him.
There's Dixon looking for Mendoza on the far side. Andrew Diaz knocks that one out of play. Diaz, the 17-year-old, making his 2nd appearance of the season for TFC, up from the academy team. Dixon with a throw-in. Gets it to Forbes. Forbes again now. Driven into the box. Ugarte, left-footed shot, deflected and just off the side netting. It was Gaudinho who got a piece of it, and an early opportunity for the Rhinos. 2nd minute, an early chance for the home side. Ugarte looking for his 1st of the season. This is his 18th appearance. There's a look at it, Christian.
Yeah, and he did all the right things. Unfortunate to get hit off the defender's knee, it looked like, but he did all the right things. It was a close chance, and he was really close to opening a scoring account this year.
A good block defensively, helping out DiBernardo, the 18-year-old keeper, his 2nd appearance of the season. Throw in here for Dixon, for Rolfe. Off of his chest. Rolfe on the season, 5 goals, 1 assist. Had a pretty good one in the last game here. 3-2 win over the Red Bulls. Rolfe with 2 goals. Tosh with the game winner in dramatic fashion. That was a shocker.
And I think we were speaking about it the entire game. It'd be a great time to replicate a playoff type game, and I think they did it. So it was a fun game. Wasn't the best, wasn't the cleanest, but at the end of the day, it's not what gets you a playoff championship, does it?
And now those 2 teams could meet again, New York and Rochester. The Rhinos will play the winners of Red Bull and Pittsburgh, who will play on Saturday at Red Bull Arena, 5 p.m. kickoff. Red Bull seeded number 4, Riverhounds number 5. So that could be another matchup between these 2 teams. As battling through the middle of the field is Mirabelli. Goes outside. Bernal battles with Dixon. Sal Bernal, the 23-year-old out of UNLV, wins a free kick just outside the Rhinos' 18. Bernal with 2 goals on the season, those coming last week in a 2-2 draw at Wilmington. He scored in the 45th and the 55th. As Rhinos will set up with a 2-man wall. We're in the 4th minute at Salem Stadium. It's Raheem Edwards to take it, the 19-year-old. And a chance early on here for TFC too.
Both team trading blows nice and early this game, so it's poised to be an exciting one.
Edwards chips into the box. Gaudinho gets a piece of it, but nothing too dangerous there. It's cleared away by Apostolopoulos. It was Mirabelli who got a soft piece of it. Now it's Gaudinho with the throw-in, the 18-year-old, former Canadian under-18 player. Good touch from Mendoza to Rolfe. Here's Tosh, Mr. Everything.
Does it all, Sean Tosh.
Vols, the team captain, outside to Dixon. Far side, long ball there, looking for Forbes. Marked by Fabrizi. Forbes cuts it back to his right. Serves a low one into the box. And blocked there by Diaz. There's it to Edwards. He'll look to approach midfield. Spin around. Walls comes in, goes down, and Edwards keeps possession. Pass will be intercepted by Dixon. These 2 teams have played 3 times already this season. The Rhinos, 2 wins and a draw. That 1 draw coming at Toronto May 23rd. A scoreless result. There's Ruggles to Tosh. How's the injury situation for the club? Obasi, see that he is dressed tonight, but how's he handling physically?
No, it's more just an opportunity for Coach Lilly to just give him a bit of rest. He's a player who does also play indoor year-round, so any chance we get, it'd be nice to just have him get some fresher legs, especially as playoffs are approaching. It is nice to see Grant Van de Castile back in the lineup. He had a bit of just a knock, but it is nice to see him back as everyone's kind of gearing and getting ready back to playoffs.
It'll be, hopefully, a healthy team facing either New York or Pittsburgh October the 3rd.
And both teams, actually, we just recently encountered both of them. Pittsburgh a little over a week ago. We've had Red Bulls last week, so it will be interesting being that both teams kind of had to show a bit of their cards recently.
Yeah, Pittsburgh backing into the playoffs at the last possible second with a win at Harrisburg. Here's a chance now for Bernal into the 18. The shot just wide of the post. Sal Bernal coming in, looking to pick up where he left off at Wilmington.
It just looked like a slight bit of miscommunication there. Here we see it. Yeah, not sure if he's offside. Looks like that was what they were attempting to do, but just snuck in and had a clear chance. Unfortunate not to score there, but good for the Rhinos.
There's the corner kick. Miller up to make the save. Bernal's been dangerous. He missed the first 15 games of the season due to some visa issues. Finally debuted on July the 24th in a 1-0 shocker against the Charleston Battery, a win for Toronto.
And already showing his worth. He's quick, he's dangerous, he's agile, so maybe a handful for the Rhinos defense, but so far everything's looking strong, looking set.
12th appearance for Bernal, and Rolfe goes down as his foot was stepped on. Yaroslav Morel, the referee, will have a word as Mirabelli goes over to say, I'm sorry. Dixon to Van de Castile. Forbes a little flick forward. Onanye plays it back to Di Bernardo. Gaudinho. Edwards forced backwards to Onanye, 22-year-old. Outside now, Fabrizi. Here's Bernal. Now sent forward. Tosh gets a little poke on it, back to Van de Castile. And they'll find Ruggles, another indoor player as well. Ruggles played last season with the Wilmington Hammerheads. Goal and assist in 21 games played. Ruggles and Obasi with the Baltimore Blasts in the indoor game.
Massively successful team, the Baltimore Blast.
Tremendous history there. Forbes with a touch. Ugarte. Back to Forbes,
Good
middle of the
decision there
field.
by Forbes cleaning it up.
Walls. Poked away there. Outside to Bernal. Now sent forward. Mirabelli. Quick little touch there by Hamilton. Knocked off the ball. Toronto will regroup. Fraser. TFC trailed 2-0 on Saturday. Fought back to end 2-2. And this one's out of play.
Both teams kind of feeling each other out. Toronto a bit more composed, a bit more focused on possession, while the Rhinos have been a bit more dangerous, a bit more ruthless going forward. So it's all the ingredients for a great game.
Final game of the regular season for both of these teams. And be sure that you visit the new USLsoccer.com, get the latest news and live stats. Check out the new social media hub, USLsoccer.com. Tosh to Ruggles. Sends it forward. Settled there by Fabrizi. No one on the end of this one. Van de Castile. Quick touch forward, looking for Rolfe. He nudges into Gaudinho. And it'll be free kick coming up here for TFC. Rhinos got the regular season trophy presentation before the game tonight. 16-1-10, 58 points. They ran away with it. 16 shutouts. And a nice little presentation before the match. all of that now in the books, and it's time to focus on the new season.
Absolutely. It's I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point. Doesn't matter what you did in the season, what your record was, goals against, nothing. Playoffs like we saw last year is just a whole nother game. Orlando City went out in the first round to Harrisburg City, I believe.
Yeah, and if you look at the last 4 seasons, only once in the past 4 years has the USL regular season champion lifted the playoff championship trophy. So work definitely cut out for the Rhinos, their first league championship since 2001. As Ugarte takes a tumble. Tosh will leave it for Ruggles. We are in the 11th minute at Salem Stadium in a makeup game from September the 12th. Is this one a little too heavy on the touch? Mendoza.
Back on that the playoff topic, it will be a new and different dynamic this year with basically being a team from the East against the West for the final. Wonder how that's going to play out, being that you essentially know your opponents. You've played against them up until that final game where it's a brand new opponent, style of play, everything.
That's
so
a good point.
It's interesting because it's something that, you know, the play, you know, the conference semis, the conference final, it's like, all right, we've seen this guy, we know this guy, but now the last game of the season potentially is one where you're like, all right, let's see what he does. So wonder how that'll play out.
That'll be an interesting setup for both sides coming east and west. As on the western side, this Friday, Colorado takes on Seattle. Saturday, it is Sacramento against the LA Galaxy 2, who knocked Rochester out of the playoffs last season 2-1. There's Hamilton. Mirabelli, one-time shot. Low, hard one from Uccello. Miller's there to make the save.
And Bernal, once again, being dynamic, being explosive, and really being just that igniting factor for the Toronto attack. Everyone seems to feed off of him. Once he goes, everyone wants the ball all of a sudden. So something the Rhinos are definitely going to need to keep a watch on.
He's done a good job this season, Bernal, since coming in at the end of July. Bright future for the first team at Toronto FC, who are 12-13-4 right now. Gaudinho steps in hard, knocks the ball away from Ugarte, and the referee a little late on the call, but he'll give it to the Rhinos. As Ugarte is slow to get up. Ugarte, the 22-year-old, played at Providence and Michigan. Making his 18th appearance of the season, slow to get up right now. It'll be just outside the 18. The Rhinos on a restart. 38 goals on the season, only 15 against, which ties the team record of goals against in a season. See if they can keep that mark here tonight.
And we saw that fall here. It looked like completely clean, completely just shoulder, but
I think Mendoza was going for broke there.
knowing from experience on this turf, it's until he's up, until we get him looked at, it's never something you want to just ignore because that turf does not forgive.
Tough surface here at Salem Stadium. DiBernardo sending players forward. The native of Richmond Hill, Ontario. That's this one up to midfield. Ruggles off of his head, and throw one coming up here for TFC2. Fraser to Gaudinho. Back to Onanye. Liam Fraser, 17-year-old from British Columbia. Played it back to Onanye, who's fouled by Colin Rolfe. Short restart. Uccello. Outside now, Fabrizi. Love the names. Mirabelli, Uccello, Fabrizi.
Italian.
Right up my way.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you feel back at home.
DiBernardo, and now it's Fraser.
Throws it off.
Dixon will touch it back to Miller. Play it over to the far side. kept in play by Diaz.
Toronto really growing into this game right now. They're being even more patient than before and really trying to isolate. And I think they're understanding their own strengths right now.
We kind of saw that with New York last week. They got more confident as the game went on. Then they had the man advantage and really fought their way back into the game. Good possession. As Tosh gets away from Edwards. Let's go to the far side for Mendoza. The header. Diaz out of play. Throw in for Dixon. 25th appearance of the season. 3 goals, 2 assists for another guy who's been versatile for Bob Lilly's side. Edwards almost got a piece of it. Ruggles now has space to come forward. Edwards went for it. Ruggles comes away with it. Ugarte, corner of the 18, still Ugarte. Forbes. Now Tosh, they'll work it around to the far side. Back to Tosh. They'll keep possession. They had a little bit of a break there and slowed it down. Looking for that perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they were looking for the perfect one and didn't really just pull the trigger when they could. But showing tremendous patience now to keep it.
Here's Walls spinning away from pressure to Mendoza, the motor, who runs all over the field. Still Mendoza battling and wins it back. Good work there from Johnny. Now Tosh. Tosh has just grown this season into such a complete player. He's played everywhere just about, and he's succeeded in all those spots.
He's done well. I think, I mean, it's just a recipe for success, him being a center mid. Him being a center mid, it really just utilizes his IQ. I mean, it's no secret as a center mid, you really have to know where everyone else has to be. You've got to organize. So when you're put in other positions, you get a different perspective. You really grow your IQ even more. And now it just allows him to really sit in that middle where he has been the last few games due to injuries and just shine. He's done well, very well.
It's been a pleasure to watch. And how about that header last week? Snapping, powerful header on the corner kick.
And that's
late in stoppage time.
That's no surprise. He's fantastic header of the ball. Very strong in the air, and we joke, but he does. He's got a big noggin on him, so it's kind of tough to miss. I actually felt bad for the ball when it went in the net. You know.
Here is the man with the powerful header, Tosh, onto the near side.
No, but very complete player. He's done well. He's had a great season. And it'll only help him grow. I mean, I think in your rookie year, what more can you ask for? Not only just get minutes, but get minutes in multiple positions. I think it'll allow him to really know what he needs to work on this offseason, know his strengths, know his weaknesses. So, I mean, just completely valuable year for him.
A 23-year-old from the suburbs of Chicago, Sean Tosh, 6'2", 185 pounds. And he has been a silent but key component to this Rhinos season.
I'd definitely like to take the opportunity to give a shout out. I know he's got a tremendous family. Got a chance to meet a few of them throughout the season. I know he's got a grandma who used to call him Blue Boots because of the blue Nikes he used to wear. So just a nice little shout out. I know they're watching. I know they're tuned in. And just seeing Tosh have a great game. So
they should be proud. He has been outstanding this season. Congrats to the Tosh family.
Oh, and a little side note.
Oh,
so had a family member over. It's actually Toch.
Toch.
Toch. We're supposed to rhyme with coach.
Toch. Okay.
Actually, heard that and was a bit upset because I was like, Sean, what?
You're his roommate.
I've known you for over a year now, and you just let me say it incorrectly.
I interviewed him, and he's
completely fine with it.
All right, Toch.
So it's actually been I'm trying to correct myself every now and then, but it's like after a year, come on, man. Like,
nothing like hearing the correct pronunciation after 28 games, and you live with the guy.
Yeah.
It's Sean Toch. Fouls called inside the Rhinos' half of the field. There'll be a free kick coming up here for Toronto. Edwards and Uccello over the ball. Edwards will take it instead. The 19-year-old out of Sheridan University. Forbes fronts the ball. 20th minute, chipped into the box. Miller gets there before Toronto can get ahead of it. Quickly rolls it out. Ugarte to Ruggles. Rolfe with some space on this near side. Onanye closes him down. Rolfe holds it, looks for help. Turns the corner, still Rolfe with it. Tough battle there. Two big, strong players go at it. And Godinho comes in to help out. And here's the throw into Toch. He'll have a go from distance and a swerving shot. Deflected. And a corner kick coming up here for the Rhinos.
Sounds like he heard us.
Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. It's the USL on Facebook. Jason Bent, the coach for Toronto, had a pretty good look at that from field level. He says, no way was that deflected. Referee thought otherwise. We'll talk about quality players. Jason Bent was an assistant coach for 3 years with the first team. Through the crowd. The shot blocked by Onanye. Outside to Van de Castile. Service again blocked at the 6, and DiBernardo has had the benefit of defenders sacrificing and getting tough in front of shots.
And now it's the shift to seem to taken switched over to the Rhinos. They're on the front foot right now, so seeing if they can capitalize here.
Throwing for the Rhinos deep on the near side. It's Ugarte. Toch keeps it in play, wins another throw-in for the 11-0-2 Rhinos at home. 5-1-8 on the road. Only other team undefeated at home this season, Charleston 8-0-6. Charleston will be taking on Richmond on Saturday as well, 7:30 p.m. at the MUSC Health Stadium. Good ball forward for Forbes. Mendoza supporting, gets it back. The cross one time. Headed away there by Fabrizi. Now Mirabelli to Uccello. Bernal. Still Bernal. Cuts it inside. Toch comes in to help out. Fraser and Walls battle for it. Tony Walls very tough to knock off the ball.
Very, very tough. I mean, that's putting it lightly. I haven't seen anybody this season really give him a solid challenge. I think it's one of those where the only time it is a challenge is when the player knows him, knows how strong he is, and prepares for it. You see him tighten up, you see him plant his feet, and even then it's still a tough one for him. So
Walls had signed a contract extension through 2016, so he'll be right here again next season. The 25-year-old, 4 goals, 2 assists on the season for Walls. Van de Castile steps in front to win it. He takes a touch forward as well now. And he'll trot back as Ugarte left to do some work now.
I think we spoke about Grant a few weeks, maybe a few months back, about him just calmly coming out of pressure like that, and I think that's a huge boost for the team. I think it's something that, it's a subtle play, just dribbling out, but you're breaking that first line of pressure, and everyone else can kind of relax and get open for the ball. So
I don't recall what game that was, but you're right. It was a constant, right? Yeah, it was a constant factor. He just kept coming forward out of pressure. You're right. Good point.
And he's just very technical center. All our center backs are very technical, which I think has been a huge boost for the team. It kind of takes a bit of the pressure off the midfield to really always get on the ball. And we actually had, he took a knock, so he was out for a game or two. Actually hopped in the midfield in training and just did not look out of place at all. I'm talking about Grant, so just shows versatility.
Season. Defender of the year. Mendoza. Wall slides and deflected off of Tony. It'll be a goal kick coming up. Bob Lilly and Christian Voleski have been in a heated conversation. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming on here early in this match, but they've been talking for a bit.
Bob Lilly's a very animated coach. I don't think it's anything negative. I think he's just trying to walk him through some points that maybe the forward's on right now, Colin Rolfe being that forward. maybe something that he doesn't want him to do when he does go in. It always, I will say, I'll drop that little bit. It's always interesting when you're on the bench because they'll turn and, why did he do that? Coach, I genuinely don't know why.
Always coaching, always teaching. Volesky is warming up. We'll see if that means he comes on early. Volesky, 8 goals and 3 assists on the season. Toch intercepts it, gets it back from Walls. There's Walls, Van de Castile. Outside to Dixon. Dixon, the former Houston Dynamo player.
Rivaling Toch for Mr. Everything in this last home stretch of the season. Toch.
Toch. And if you're the opposition, how do you prepare for so many different pieces that can go in different places?
I mean, it's almost that same sort of, dynamic where we were speaking of the playoff final would be a team you haven't seen before. Well, it could be the same with us. We don't know what team we're going to put out, but we're confident that the players are going to perform and fight and put in a shift.
Only 1 loss on the season. A tremendous year by Bob Lilly and the Rhinos as Gaudinho takes a run forward. It's played behind Hamilton. And Ruggles takes a look, drives one forward. Rolfe collides with the keeper, DiBernardo, but gets his head on it.
Great ball there by Drew Ruggles, really showing, his skill set, what he's good at. He's a very technical player, can really strike the ball very well. And it's just been a great outlet pass, a different dynamic for the Rhinos today.
Very athletic, very strong. Ruggles on the ball now. Battles through one challenge. Slide tackle. And foul's called. Jason Bent can't believe it. Even with the hand gestures, I think Jason Bent's got some Italian.
Yeah, he's passionate about together.
Not happy with that call. Jason Bent, the former MLS player with Colorado. Witnessed this free kick right in front of his bench. And it's back to Tony Walls. We're in the 28th minute and scoreless. Joe Giuliano along with Christian Silva. Pedro Ugalde, our producer this evening. John Catalano on the main camera. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Oh, what a chest pass. Nice from Ruggles.
Stop it, Drew. I think he's hearing us. Every time we've mentioned someone in the cast so far, they've taken the opportunity to use that next play to try and basically confirm what we've said.
Putting on the show tonight.
They're doing well, and it just goes to show what just a touch of confidence can do. I mean, I think once you get to a certain level, it's not a technical game to the point where it's nothing you haven't seen before. You know how to kick the ball, you know how to receive it, you know how to dribble. I mean, we speak of the Sean Toch a few games back when Alex Dixon was placed in a more advanced role.
Unbelievable.
Just how he thrived. It's just a question of confidence. It's you know how to play the game after a certain point. It's just a question
feel.
of yeah, absolutely. So I think it's definitely a good thing for younger players to pick up on and older players as well. Is just don't forget it's such a mental game. It just affects you in every single way and can really be the difference between a few goals in a season or just really struggling to break through.
And that will be crucial come October the 3rd. It's one and done playoff time. It'll be here at Salem Stadium again, either the Red Bulls 2 or the Riverhounds. October the 3rd. For information on that, be sure to visit rhinosoccer.com. Toronto building and working out of the back. Gaudinho, pressured by Ugarte, knocked it out of play. And while we have a break, be sure to follow at USL on Twitter, become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways at USL on Twitter.
In sections 101 and 117.
A little delay here. And we are good to go. As Rolfe coming over to the sideline, and
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I think he may be bleeding, so they're calling him over to get looked at by the trainer and stop the bleeding. Looks like it's his arm or can't tell what it is from here, as the trainer is taking a look at something on the upper body of Rolfe. Here's Hamilton. Rhinos playing with 10 right now as Rolfe getting tended to here on the sidelines. Onanye, good one touch. Uccello. Walls extending the leg, able to snatch that one. Good job by Tony Walls. Onanye breaks up the pass for Mendoza. Looks to be a bloody nose for Colin Rolfe, and when you play his style of game, you're going to get those bumps and bruises.
I mean, that's nothing new. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Band-Aid tucked away in his sock. He's a player who's always going to put a shift in and just enjoys it. I mean, he's a very, I say it time and time again, he's a very technical player, very ambidextrous. Pulls some things in training where, I mean, I can remember clearly a situation where I just walked up to him and was like, how do you do that? How do you balance like that, turn like that? But then adds that physical part to his game. So it's only a matter of time before he finds his stride and just explodes onto the scene once again. And he's shown bits and flashes of that this year. And like I said, tremendous player, and just excited to see him continue to find his rhythm.
His numbers have definitely improved. 2 goals, 2 assists last season. 5 goals, 1 assist this year for Rolfe, who's going to have to change his jersey, and he'll be the number 23 on your screen. As Dixon's cross is deflected out of play. Corner kick coming up here for the Rhinos. 3rd one of the match. Let's be sure to mention that Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. 3rd corner kick coming up here. It's Canardo Forbes over to take it. 3 goals, 5 assists for the Jamaican coming in from the Syracuse Silver Knights of the MASL. And Rolfe makes his way back onto the field with the number 23 jersey. There's Forbes' delivery, a high one into the box. Van de Castile gets a header on it, and it may have been deflected again. It was. Another corner kick for the Rhinos. Van de Castile with 2 goals on the season for the 24-year-old. Selected to the USL Team of the Week 2 times. Still in the box. Forbes. Headed away by Fraser. Ruggles. Options galore on that far side. He had 3 players just chopping at the bit.
And you can see what he was trying to do there. He was trying to hook it back post. Very dangerous area. Definitely a player capable of hitting that ball. Just a touch over hit, but it's a good sign. It's definitely something you want to, keep pushing from the players. Try it now more than any time ever, because take advantage of the situation that it is essentially a practice game.
Number 9, Colin Rolfe, is now wearing number 23.
Rolfe back to Wallace.
Colin Rolfe now wearing number 23.
Ruggles keeps it in play, knocked off of Edwards.
Edwards did well not to get Meg there. You saw what he was going for.
I think you mentioned this too at the start of the broadcast tonight. The timing of this game really not too bad, because it kind of falls into a spot where there would be a bit of a lull between now and the playoffs. So it is a tune-up game, but you get to see some different faces, different opponent as well.
Absolutely, and it's a tricky part of the season, because at this point you're not going to get fitter. If you're going to introduce a new concept at this point, then, I think you may have dropped the ball somewhere. Not saying that's the case. I'm just saying,
right, absolutely.
If you're going to introduce a new concept now's not the time. You're not going to get fitter. You can't really overwork the guys. You don't want to underwork them either, so it's, what a better time to have a game right now.
Get your Admiral custom jerseys, t-shirts.
It may have been a blessing in disguise the night this one was canceled on September the 12th, as the field was just covered in water. Normally the drainage system here is pretty solid. It's handled some major storms, but that day was just constant, as both teams couldn't even make it out to warm-ups.
Screen printing, embroidery, signs, and so much more. Look like a winner, feel like a winner. Big City.
Ruggles called for the foul.
And Fans Imprintable Solutions Incorporated, proud sponsor of Rochester Rhinos.
Restart coming up in the 35th minute. Godinho plays it short to Fraser. Back to Onanye.
The Imprintable Solutions Incorporated personal touch. They provide
Outside,
customer service
Fabrizi.
end to end. Visit them online at imprintablesolutions.com. Imprintable Solutions, more than ink on paper.
Fabrizi out of the Toronto FC Academy. Joined them when he was 16 years old.
He just doesn't look out of place whatsoever. None of the younger players do. And that's, like I said, we say it time and again, it's an interesting challenge for the coach, but it is nice to see at the end of the day, you want to grow the game. So if you're seeing players just be comfortable at this level where you're playing against a Rhinos team with a bunch of 20-somethings, mid-20 players, it's only good for the Toronto club. Should they not jump up to the first team, you know, they go out into the world of professional football already having this year under their belt and knowing they can stand toe-to-toe with players in this league and higher.
It's a great setup to have these teams in the USL to kind of bridge that development gap between the first team. As again, New York has qualified for the playoffs, so that is a feat in itself. As Wolniak, the head coach, has had so many different players to juggle through this season. And looking for Bernal. Gets it down on the turf. Right in the middle of the field, the one-time shot, just wide, a rocket from Uccello in the 36th minute.
And I'll say showing well, Toronto. They're doing well. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, they had a few younger guys, but pace has not slowed down. They're actually picking up the pace and growing into the game. You know, while it is a compliment, it is a bit dangerous for the Rhinos.
A good-looking shot there from the 17-year-old Uccello, who also has a brother, Julian, who's a soccer player, played for Crotone in Italy. To get his second of the season there. Mendoza, Toch. Ugarte could be in here. Ugarte heads it into the 18. Spins. Lays it back for Ruggles. Edwards just a little nudge to knock him off balance. And this one rolls out of play. Don't forget that all USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD, and on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. Sorry.
No worries. I was saying interesting call there. I mean, I think the ref of you closer than anybody possible on the field. Just that push in the back. Unfortunate. Could have seen Drew Ruggles and Ugarte combined for some good points.
Ruggles was like a laser there, just sprinting forward. He wanted a piece of that one. And now they'll call him for the foul against Edwards.
Bit of a shock of the ref at the moment, but hey, nobody's perfect, right?
38th minute, the captain Uccello plays it back to Onanye. Mirabelli. TFC 2 with possession on the far side. Middle of the field, Frazier. Onanye. Quick little touch from Uccello. Gadinho. Good ball forward, but it's going to run out of space here. Good intention. Just couldn't get this one to stick in play.
Good idea. I think he just decided at the last minute and really just swung his foot at it.
There's Forbes chipping forward, looking for Rolfe. Handball called. It was Colin Rolfe. Again, he's wearing number 23, if you're wondering who that is. Had a bloody nose. There was blood on the jersey, forcing him to change into the 23. He has been called for a handball.
Good composure there.
Yeah, very good.
Very good composure.
Tight space, closing down fast.
I mean, that's what you want from your center mid. And I think it's something that goes a bit underappreciated. You invite a bit of pressure, you draw 2 or 3 guys next to you, all of a sudden you've got somebody isolated somewhere.
Offsides the call on Hamilton in the 39th minute. Jordan Hamilton is 19 years old, a 3-year player in the TFC Academy. He was on loan in the USL last season to Wilmington. This one up in the air. Apostolopoulos gets the header on it.
And the Rhinos really looking to establish their dominance back on the game. Wouldn't say they really had any dominating points, but they were pushing, they were knocking on the door. I think they've hit a bit of a lull at the moment, but nothing they haven't seen before. I think they're very good at weathering the storm a bit and then fighting their way back, picking and choosing their chances when to go. And I think that's just a team maturity, a collective understanding that, you know what, we're not going to go right now. Let's wait a bit. Let's catch our breath and attack again in a bit.
5 minutes plus stoppage time left here in this first half. The Rhinos and Toronto. This is the 4th meeting of this season, and we are scoreless. TFC has played well. The Rhinos have had opportunities. They've done well. An even first half. Will it tip one way or the other when they head into the dressing room? Ruggles sees this one out of play. And throwing coming up here for the Rhinos deep in their own half. Congratulations to Riverhounds midfielder Lebo Moloto, the USL Player of the Week for the 27th week of the season. Scored 2 goals in 2 games, helping Pittsburgh get into the playoffs. Scored against Rochester and Harrisburg.
Brilliant goal against us as well.
The Riverhounds just sneaking into the playoffs. Have they found their form late? Well, we shall see, but they do score a lot of goals. 53.
I will say that, I mean, they've been a bit up and down because they started the season very strong as well. They had that very first win, banged in 5 goals, and all of a sudden everyone was fearing them. I think they just struggled to find exactly what they were good at. They knew they were good at something. I will say they are good at shooting from distance. I think Rob Vincent, Moloto.
Oh. Gardino came in and just leveled Ugarte. And I think he took a knee right to the face or maybe a shin.
Yeah, that was an absolute clothesline.
Ow. Ugarte shaking it off and
straight off a video game, that kick you saw.
That was vicious. Here's a look at it. Looks like a knee just under the chin.
Didn't seem to be anything too dangerous. And that's, you know, Ugarte's getting stuck in. He's had a few knocks, that earlier knock before, and now this one. I think they're just saying welcome to welcome to the game.
And Bob was offering some instruction to Ugarte. And I don't think Ugarte got the message. He had his clock cleaned.
He's still seeing stars.
Intercepted on the far side. A counterattack opportunity here. TFC coming forward. Try to go forward with some space. Hamilton gets in to the far side. Rhinos have recovered nicely on the defensive side. Double team. Van de Castile and Hamilton battle. And throwing coming up here for TFC.
And they've done well. Both teams did well. Toronto to get up the field that quick. I think they had 4 guys trailing, making an effort to make the box. The Rhinos just as good an effort to make it back and close it down. I think within a matter of seconds, it was a 1-on-1 to a 3-on-1 in the Rhinos' favor. So it's good to see. It's good habits. We mention it time and again. It's the habits that really define the team.
And behind the play, Onanye went down, and they're going to call a foul against Rolfe. The referee had waited to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't, and free kick here for Toronto in the 44th minute. There's Onanye. Gardino. Edwards. Hard tackle there from Ugarte. And sent out of play. Throwing here for Ruggles. Toch.
Just using that noggin.
Mendoza. Walls. Late in the first half, scoreless at Salem Stadium. Into the box, Rolfe. Couldn't get a body on that one. Rolled out by DiBernardo. Uccello. Edwards. Back to Uccello. Looking for Hamilton. Ruggles breaks it up. Plays it back to Van de Castile. 45th minute.
The Rhinos a bit narrow at the moment. They've stopped really committing to getting open, to spreading and opening the field up. And it's showing. You see, you know, every time they've been getting the ball, they're looking up. They're trying to signal someone to make a run. There aren't many options. I wonder what's changed.
And that's the worst thing when you see a player with the ball at his feet and those hands kind of gesturing, move, something to help.
Yeah. I mean, you can always think a few plays ahead, but if you imagine a play and they're not willing to make the run, it's really tough. It's tough to create. It's tough because you essentially depend on other players at some point.
Absolutely.
But, you know, it has been a few strings of counterattack, so I think they're just seeing out the half.
1 minute of stoppage time. Is there one coming up here for Ugarte? Through the mix, deflected in front. DiBernardo just gets in front of it. Mendoza was flying in.
And the two big guys for Rhinos combining there, Marcos Ugarte and Johnny Mendoza. Did well there, both of them. Mind you, Johnny is from the other wing, and he made it all the way in the box. So that just shows, once again, Mendoza's work rate is just unbelievable.
There he is again, chasing the ball down, forced to the near side for Onanye. Off of Ugarte. 1 minute of stoppage time here in this first half, as we are scoreless. Here's Godinho, the outside back, plays it to Onanye. Across to the far side, and Fabrizio will get it, and this one will come to a close. After 45 minutes of play at Salem Stadium, the Rhinos and TFC 2, final home game of the regular season for the Rochester Rhinos. We are scoreless as we enter the second half of play, with Walls and the Rhinos doing the kickoff honors. Dixon. First half stats: shots 5 for the Rhinos, 3 for Toronto, 4 corner kicks for Rochester, 1 for the visitors. A little chill in the air. You gonna be okay? You're from Florida.
That's not good news for me. I'm freezing right now.
This is wintertime for you.
This is about as cold as it gets. Anything else is only written of in legends and fables.
I was just saying off the air, when this season ends, hopefully the end of October for the Rhinos, you'll go back and the weather here changes to a nasty 6 months.
I dodged that massive bullet, that torpedo that's coming.
Back to sunshine and palm trees.
To be fair, it's obviously it's, I don't want to say bittersweet. I'm lying if I'm saying I don't want to be in Florida, but you know, it is a whole different experience. I mean, I remember the past few winters, once December hits, you know, we're training, it's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and you're like, oh wow, it's 95. There's
stop.
Absolutely no Christmas feeling. But, you know, being up here for preseason when it was freezing, I will.
Piles of snow on the sides of the field, right?
Man, I remember because we didn't get much of the, well, obviously I didn't bring up much cold gear, and we didn't get the Rhinos gear while we were trialing, so we played at, was it Robert Wesleyan? Yep. 9-degree weather.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh man, my hand went numb, and then I made the mistake of dripping water on it by accident, so literally it was frozen. I made a fist the entire first half just to keep feeling.
Well, you'll miss it this year. We'll see what happens come March of next year. Ruggles with a free kick for the Rhinos. No changes for either side. Headed away by Edwards as we're in the 47th minute. Rhinos will be in playoffs October the 3rd against the winner Pittsburgh and New York. Forbes. Outside, Toch. Chips. Header, and just cleared away there. Ugarte was crashing in.
Ugarte, an absolute bully today, just taking hits, giving hits, but he's hungry for that goal, so it's nice to see. I definitely think if he keeps it up, he will have one.
Good ball from Toch. Leads to a corner kick here for the Rhinos, 5th one of the game. It's Mendoza to take it. Good delivery.
Whoa.
Deflected ball through the 18. Forbes finds Dixon. They'll go all the way to the far side for the one and only Johnny Mendoza. Ruggles. Apostolopoulos still very deep after that corner kick. Being an option in the box, why not? Forbes has the ball on the flank. Spins, squares up, plays it to Walls. And corner kick coming up, so A short run for Apostolopoulos, already in position.
Another kick. He's just completely was not bothered to come.
Sixth corner kick of the game. On the near side now, it's Forbes to take it. There's the delivery, a low one. Sitting there and cleared away by the defense, but picked up by the Rhinos again. Ruggles. Toch. Cuts it back to his left. Still Toch. Whips one across, and it avoids everybody and out of play. There'll be a throw-in on the far side for TFC. Coming in with 26 goals on the season. They've given up 50. It is up there in the USL. A couple other teams in the 50s. Harrisburg, Vancouver, and Arizona. Here's Fraser. Back to Onanye. The Baby Reds, the big boys, will be hosting Chicago on Saturday at BMO Field.
Chicago
push for the
dealing
playoffs. How
dealing
about
with
that?
a bit of couple change-ups there. Should be interesting. I think it's a team that started to develop a bit of a reputation of just being somewhat in shambles. So it's nice to see. Hopefully it's a change for the better. Change isn't always a good change, you know. There's a lot of things kind of left up in the air, so we'll see how they react, how they respond.
They'll have a chance to do that Saturday up in Toronto against the 12, 13, and 4 Toronto FC. Rolfe, nice ball for Forbes. One-time shot right at DiBernardo.
Become a fan of USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content.
Down to the near side, Bernal. He had a very good 5 or 10 minute clip in that first half. Then he kind of disappeared.
I mean, it's just kind of the nature of the game a bit. I think, you know, he wasn't getting the service he was in the first few minutes. You know, the Rhinos started going, attacking, forced Toronto to go on their back foot a bit, so wasn't finding the ball as much. He's definitely a player that he's not going to go and get it as often, so he needs that service. He needs to be isolated and be played that ball into space so he can attack. So we'll see if they can kind of get back into that run of play.
He was dangerous when that style of play was there, but he has been kept in check. He is slowly getting up.
Tickets for October 3rd, Rochester Rhinos' first playoff games are on sale now.
Is number 42, Massimo Mirabelli. And he'll be off and getting looked at by the trainer.
At Fantasy Circuit 2016, Rochester Rhinos. Season tickets by calling
Free kick coming up here for Toronto.
Option number 2. And at Rochester Rhinos administrative offices Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Be sure to visit the new USLsoccer.com. Get the latest news and live stats. Check out the new social media hub, USLsoccer.com.
Playoff games for free.
Edwards touches it outside for Gaudinho, but the pass is intercepted. Walls forward for Ugarte. Turning it forward now for Forbes. 52nd minute. Back to Forbes. Back to Ugarte. Toch, top of the 18, a little chip shot. And no trouble there for DiBernardo. And Toronto in the 53rd minute.
And Rhinos taking a bit of risk. I think if you saw in that play, the back line was very disconnected from the midfield. Both center mids for the Rhinos had committed forward, showing eagerness to commit to try and get that goal, but not sure if they were on the same page there, and hopefully that's something they sort out going forward for the rest of the 35, 36 minutes left.
Off the chest of Walls, flicked forward by Toronto. Looking for Hamilton, Ruggles gets there in the air. Ugarte, little flick now for Forbes. Forbes gets away from the first one. Nice little touch outside for Mendoza. Hustles to keep it in play. Johnny Mendoza. Still Mendoza. Back to the Jamaican Canardo Forbes. Off his foot, cleared away by Toronto's defense. The Rhinos with all the possession here in the first 8 minutes of the second half. Toch to Dixon. There's Mendoza. Is it back to Apostolopoulos. Outside to Ruggles. Ruggles playing left back tonight, can also find some time at the outside midfield position on the left.
And the Rhinos really struggling to find those pockets apart from that back line.
Look how deep Walls is checking back for.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the body language. It's the actions one needs to take when you're not getting it, especially as a center mid. You know, you do get a bit impatient. You want the ball to move. You want to get on it. But if the runs aren't there, you're forced to go back and just say, look, let me get it here. Let me get a few touches and try and get out of it.
Is the official supplier for the Rhinos.
Throwing for Ruggles on the far side. There's Forbes. Offsides, flag comes up. It's Ugarte behind the play, and both teams getting ready to make some substitutions here. And let's get that pencil sharpened, because in the USL, it's 5 substitutions per team. So here we go. Woleski will be the first one coming on momentarily. He's got 8 goals in the season, looking to get into double digits maybe with a 2-goal performance here in the second half.
It'd definitely be a game to get it. It's hit a bit of a lull right now, so a good spark. Definitely a faster, more dynamic player. Different player than Colin Rolfe, so it could be just the change that we need.
There's Onanye. Fraser, a heavy touch there, out of play on the far side. We are in the 56th minute. The Rhinos and TFC are scoreless here at Salem Stadium. It'll be a weekend off for the Rhinos. They'll sit back and watch New York and Pittsburgh do battle on 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then prepare for one of those 2 teams on October the 3rd right here at Salem Stadium. Free kick just inside the Toronto half of the field for the visitors. Subs available for Toronto. Bono, the backup keeper, actually out of Syracuse, New York. Charpy, Sela Clady, Osorio, Enin, Rivas, and Phillip for TFC. 2 for the Rhinos, Grinwis, Obasi, Bordeaux, Malgrou, Woleski, Dos Santos, and Asani Samuels. Laid off here for Canardo Forbes. Mendoza, they play the 1-2. Looking to get it back through. Forbes wants a handball. Toronto's coming back on the counter. Here's Bernal.
And look at that from Johnny Mendoza.
And Castile just stands his ground, picks it away. Here's Dixon. Center for Apostolopoulos. Vasily Apostolopoulos, the 27-year-old. Played in Greece, has played in Hungary. He has been around the world for this wonderful game. Brought over with some connections through George Kiriatsis.
Great experienced player.
Has the ball now to Van de Castile. Looks like Woleski will be coming in.
Looks like they're maybe switching up who they originally wanted to take out. You see Bob Lilly and Coach George just kind of shuffling back and forth, grabbing some pencils. So Coach Lilly maybe throwing a little curveball there. See how Toronto responds.
And there will be a change coming up here in the 58th minute. We thought it was going to be Rolfe coming off, but they did change it at the last second. Is Johnny Mendoza who will be coming off. Woleski is on, Mendoza is off. And does this truly bring 2 forwards up top now with Woleski and Rolfe?
Yeah, and I mean, essentially it does. I think Canardo has been withdrawn from that attacking mid role. He's going to play out right from what it seems, from what we've seen all year. And then you've got 2 forwards here now. See how they react, how they work off each other. They're different players, so they're going to have to play off each other and really play to their strengths, which could really see this match take a very positive turn for the Rhinos.
26th appearance for Woleski. Gets the flick. No, Onanye will get there first. Picked up here now by Fabrizi gets it back to Fraser. Outside looking for Edwards. Ruggles steps in front, wins the battle there, knocks Edwards off the ball.
Absolutely sent him to the gym there.
Rolfe tried to come to the near side for Forbes. And he'll get the ball on a poor clearance. Canardo Forbes looking to make Toronto pay for that poor touch. Dixon now pushing up in the 59th minute. Still Dixon. Low cross, cleared away. Mirabelli sent forward, looking for Hamilton. Hamilton has Van de Castile all over his back. Referee says play on momentarily. No advantage there for Mirabelli, and he'll be coming out on a restart for Toronto FC.
Great display there by both players. Hamilton showing good bit of strength, a bit of experience to be able to hold off Grant Van de Castile. Grant Van de Castile not letting up, holding and drawing the foul. Mature play right there. A lot of players will try and see it out and play it right, but sometimes you got to give the foul up and just kind of reset. So, like I said, great display by both players there.
Very smart foul there from Van de Castile. As Walls takes the foul against Uccello. Free kick coming up now for Toronto once again as they'll make one change. Richie Ennin will be coming on. So the second change also will take place. Number 39 will be coming on as well. Nunez. I checked that Nunez is not 39 tonight. It's Sila Klaidi, who was wearing 39 this evening. This one sent into the box, cleared away by Apostolopoulos. Sent forward for Voleski. Foot race here, Godinho gets there. Voleski battles with him. Godinho gets a poke back to Di Bernardo.
And see, it's a play like that where I would have liked to have seen the rest of the team really jump up and support Voleski on that play. You know, should he lose it, they're right there to close him in. We're kind of slipping into that lull once again. We're not really responding as much as we should. So we'll see. I mean, there's cases like that where my personal opinion, I would like to see everyone else make an effort to get closer. You close the field up and all of a sudden you're 20 yards from goal when you win it back.
First change of the game coming up for Toronto. It is Ennin coming on for Edwards. Clyde coming on in the 62nd minute for Onanye. Ennin and Clady are 16 years old, just youngsters. Out of the field now. Clady from Mississauga taking his spot in the 62nd minute. Two changes there for the visitors. Onanye, Edwards off. Clady and Ennin are on. Obasi will be coming on for Rochester along with Bordeaux at the next stoppage. It'll be the second and third substitutions for the Rhinos. Forbes loses possession. Picked up by Fraser. Outside to Ennin. Richie Ennin. Couple of touches, spinning, looking for an option. Finds it there, and Uccello looking for Hamilton. Wasn't going to go there. Ruggles comes back the other way.
Now there was some clear open gaps, some isolated players for Toronto there. Let's say they didn't check their shoulder, they didn't scan the field before, but there was definitely some options. The Rhinos were a bit off balance there. Did well to, a bit lucky, not did well, but did lucky that they didn't spot that out and pick it out.
Ugarte forward for Rolfe. Now back to Ruggles. Obasi will be coming in. For Obasi, it's going to be his 20th appearance on the season.
I don't know if you can tell, that is a fresh haircut by Obasi. You may not recognize him, but he's looking like a new man.
I thought he was Dos Santos for a second.
No. I don't know if we're going to throw out insults like that.
Insult? I mean it in the most positive way.
Nah, I'm just kidding. To be fair, it's easy to confuse them. They're both a solid
tall,
7 feet
good-looking
tall,
guys, right?
Just immaculate.
Low cross from Forbes is picked up, and Toronto coming forward with Uccello. Hamilton lays it back to Uccello. Tosh and Hamilton battle for it Toronto comes away with it. 64th minute on the outside. It's Richie Ennin. Corner of the 18, Ennin. Mirabelli. Uccello. Waited way too long, and this is not going to happen in this game. Uccello's got to be aware of what's coming from behind, and nicely taken away by Forbes. Toch. Walls. Long ball for Volesky. Sprints down on this one. Player goes down on the turf, and a foul called on Volesky.
I'm not sure about that one. That player, Toronto defender, looked like he just stumbled a bit, got caught in the turf, and fell forward.
65th minute, Ottawa Obasi coming on for the Rhinos, replacing Alex Dixon. And also in the 65th minute, it is Bordeaux, the latest signing by the Rhinos, coming on for Grant Van de Castile. Third change of the game, Bordeaux coming on in the 65th minute.
Bossy seems to think we're going the other way. He lined up on the right side. Nah, it looks like they're just giving him a few minutes, get him back in the swing of things. He's been dealing with a few knocks here and there. So, but I will say I did see a few clips of his college days playing on the right wing. So if he tends to remember any of that in the next few minutes, I feel very bad for the whole Toronto left side.
Again, versatility has been incredible from this team. And you just mentioned Obasi can also play a different spot.
And it's one of those things where you see it from here how demanding Coach Lilly is, but as demanding as he is, you tend to think, can I do it? What's he looking for? And he'll just throw you right in there because he confides in you to do it. You've put in the work and training, and he'll just throw you in there. Never once seen Obasi on the right side in any training sessions, and all of a sudden he's in there right now.
This one's played behind Mirabelli. Cleared away by Apostolopoulos. Now picked up by Fabrizi. Bassi breaks up the pass for Bernal. There'll be a throw-in coming up here for Toronto.
You can get your picture taken with the team and the 2015 regular season championship trophy. You can then stick around for a
Diaz
meet with your
gets
Rochester
through two.
sponsored by Hillside Children's Foundation.
Hamilton
Please enter
pops it
the
up in the
field
air.
as toys near section
Forbes
101.
steals it away.
And again, food, gum, or beverages will not be permitted on the field.
Bassi's ball on the near side. No one on the end of it for the Rhinos. 67th minute and scoreless. Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. It's the USL on Facebook. This one's let through for Hamilton. Walls steps in to break it up. Right down the middle of the field, Fraser with some time. Finds Uccello. Now outside. Claidy's first touch. Goes to Godinho, cuts it inside. Still Godinho. And Uccello again beat to the ball by Canardo Forbes.
You saw what Hamilton was trying to do there with the dummy, but just a bit early, and Canardo was switched on, read the play, and just completely thwarted that attack.
Walls back to Obasi. Chip is picked up again by Toronto. They'll keep possession in the Rhinos' half of the field. Ennin. Good ball looking for Hamilton. Apostolopoulos read it well. Rolfe. Good ball on the near side. Forbes with space. He'll switch it all the way to the other way, but it's Godinho to break it up easily for Ennin.
Just a touch short. Didn't do his squats this week, did he?
Fraser working the near side, looking for Bernal. Obasi, the header back to Miller. And it's been a quick distribution there for Miller. Out to Forbes. Toch. Bordeaux.
A few changes here by the Rhinos. It still look like they're in a bit of an adjustment period these last few minutes. Trying to figure out who's where, adjusting to the new person right next to them. So we'll see if it pays off.
Ugarte. Rolfe settles. Fires. Goal! Took his time in the 18, and with the left foot, Rolfe has his 6th of the season in the 69th minute.
There's that dexterity I'm talking about. Did the entire play with his left foot, calm, cool, collect, in the box. A true striker finish. And it's just great. Like I said, Colin Rolfe is just finding his stride at the right time.
How about the run from Ruggles starting at midfield? He develops the whole play to Ugarte. Good vision.
And just a collective play right there. Great play by Ruggles to get up the field. Great recognition by him and Ugarte to see that through ball. And, I mean, absolutely clinical by Colin Rolfe.
His 6th goal of the year in the 69th minute. It is 1-0 Rochester. The assist goes to number 2, Ugarte. And it is the Rhinos with a second half goal to take the lead. Toronto looking to bounce back. Ennen going to cut inside. Still with it, Ennen. Poked away by Toch. Voleski. Little chip inside. No one there for Rochester. Rolfe has to work back. Takes possession to Bordeaux. Now Bordeaux outside to Ruggles. Toch to Walls, who's dropped back into a center back position. Obasi. Walls. Now Obasi on the near side. Gives it back to Tony Walls. The Rhinos with a 1-0 lead. 70th minute. It's Rolfe from Ugarte. 2 more changes coming up here for Toronto. Rashawn Phillip will be coming on, along with Rivas, as Voleski cuts it into the 18. Pass is blocked.
You saw the idea there, and Ugarte once again just getting up the field, pushing, trying to get a goal, trying to get something to his name today. And he's done well. He's deserved it.
He's such a hard-working outside midfielder, just grinding and covering space.
From the Johnny Mendoza mold.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Obasi.
And here we go.
Yeah, he'll have a go, right?
Go.
Why not?
Buckle up, boys. Buckle up.
Still Obasi cutting it. And poked away to Bernal. It was a matter of moments before he got that engine revved up.
And like I said, buckle up, because it's there's no stopping him once he gets going.
The Obasi train.
They'll do well to really take note of that and try and avoid that. But just for the sake of the game, I'd love to just see it over and over.
1 goal last season for Obasi, 4 assists on the season in 2015.
And that was the Open Cup goal he scored, correct? I heard it was a tremendous goal. Unfortunately, there's no footage of it, but should that leak somewhere?
We'll find it.
We'll find it.
Here's Obasi stepping in. Nice ball forward for Rolfe.
Oh,
Voleski wanted it into space.
Oh, it was a perfect run. There was loads of space. I think Rolfe hesitated just a bit and missed the opportunity.
Ugarte in front. Voleski couldn't get his foot around it. And we'll have some changes coming up here in the 72nd minute. Rivas will replace Mirabelli. And there's a look at that replay. Ugarte just inches away from his second assist.
And what a first touch there. I think it's something that's so subtle, but just to take that in stride. Basically got that cross off in 2 touches. They're doing well. A lot of players for the Rhinos are turning up, showing little flashes of brilliance, and it's good. It's fun to see. It's fun to watch, and it's at the right time.
Rashawn Phillip is the player who's coming on now for Jordan Hamilton. Sorry to cut you off there. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was just saying that was, at the end of the day, that was the point of this game, essentially, wasn't it?
Outstanding service. Radisson Riverside has everything you need to guarantee a memorable event.
Walls battles with Bernal. Forbes, little touch for Obasi. Back to Miller. Miller has 0.56 goals against average heading into this final match of the year. The current USL single season record held by Orlando City's Miguel Gallardo. He had a 0.68 in 2011. And good sign here for Miller late in the game. In the 73rd minute, Obasi's pushing forward. A low cross into the box. Rolfe shot deflected.
Caught it very well.
This is off the chest, and Ennen will clear it out of play. Rolfe, 2 goals last week in the 3-2 win against New York. He's got another one tonight. Is he getting in that striker form as we head into the playoffs?
I mean, we mentioned it earlier. It just all comes down to confidence. I mentioned how technical, how well-rounded he is, and many players on the Rhinos and anywhere really. It's just once you do find your confidence, once you do find your timing, especially as a striker, it just flows. It just comes naturally.
He is in a groove. In these last couple of regular season games, Asani Samuel will be checking in for Rochester as well. It'll be the fourth change. The 22-year-old will be coming on for his 11th appearance.
And if it's any indicator, Colin Rolfe will do well to score on this play because I think his time may be up. I don't know if he's going like for like, or we will see, though.
DiBernardo out of the air and onto the ground now on the near side. Rivas will win a throw in here for Toronto. Don't forget the Rhinos' home game in the playoffs will be October the 3rd. They'll take on the winner of Pittsburgh and New York. For more information, be sure to visit rhinosoccer.com or call the Rhinos office at 585-454-KICK. Played back to DiBernardo. Second appearance of the season for the 18-year-old keeper. Out of the academy, gave up 2 goals in the loan appearance on September 5th against Montreal. Phillip. Tosh deflected to Bernal. Now back to Rivas. Uccello. Phillip. Outside, Gaudinho. Working Ruggles. Gets around him. Gaudinho gets the cross into the box. So Bassi clears it back to the far side, but Ennen picks up the loose ball. Gaudinho. Frazier moving to space, shows for him, and he gets knocked down by Rolfe, and that'll be it for Colin Rolfe tonight. He will come off in the 76th minute after getting the game's opening goal. Rolfe is off, Asani Samuels is on, and this is the 4th change of the game for Bob Lilly's Rochester Rhinos.
I believe that's the 2nd game-winning goal for Colin Rolfe. First one being St. Louis, a 1-0 win back in April, I believe, at St. Louis. Great shift by him today, a classic Colin Rolfe performance, showing a completeness to his game, did the dirty work on the defensive side, and a smooth, clinical finish to top it off.
6 on the season for Rolfe as he comes off and Samuels comes on. A free kick here for Toronto. Into the box, picked up by Fabrizi. And this one will be deflected out of play. It'll be a corner kick for the visitors from Toronto. Far side corner here for the visitors. We're in the 77th minute. Only the 2nd corner kick of the game for Toronto.
And you see Colin Rolfe has come off, but has not been allowed to get water yet. He's taken some words from Coach Lilly. But it's something you want to see. At the end of the day, you know, we keep mentioning what this game was all about, and it's about correcting the little things, making sure, you address them while they're fresh, and really see if you can make a stride, take a step forward this game for the playoffs.
Frazier plays it back to DiBernardo.
Ooh, fan of Russian roulette, that goalkeeper.
Was he ever?
Fan of Russian roulette.
The youngster dodging one there. Uccello. 1-0 Rhinos lead, 78th minute. Rochester looking for their 17th win of the season. Voleski is in. Keeper comes off his line to clear it away.
Tremendous play by the keeper there. Good recognition by the youngster.
It's true. You see so many keepers who just sit back on their line. They don't come off, and that's a breakaway opportunity. He denies.
Since Neuer's been on the scene, I think YouTube's got some heavy hits and seeing a lot of keepers take more risks. I will say, no.
Another line of defense.
Yeah. Rhinos just seem a touch off. They're a step slow to every play.
We'll see if Samuels comes up with something here. His shot is high.
They're a step behind to every play. They're a bit disconnected, a bit switched off, and it's allowing Toronto to really break those lines of pressure and slip those through balls in those dangerous pockets.
Substitution for Toronto now entering the game.
Another change coming up. It's the 5th and final substitution. Anthony Osorio is coming on, and Liam Fraser is the player who's coming off. 79th minute. Jason Bent has used all 5 of his substitutions. Osorio making his 17th appearance of the season. Another one of the players called up from the Kia TFC Academy. DiBernardo gets this one up and over midfield. Flicked on. Looking for Bernal, won't get to it. Bordeaux looking for his indoor teammate in Syracuse, Canardo Forbes. Rivas gets there first. Uccello. Gaudinho is pushed up a little higher since the substitution was made earlier with Clady coming on, number 39. Who's now playing on the outside of defense. Here he is now with the ball. Outside to Gaudinho. Osorio's first touch, pressured by Voleski. Goes down, wins a free kick at midfield. 80th minute, the Rhinos giving up a free kick that's taken quickly by Toronto. Uccello back to Fabrizi. Now Osorio. And he's dumped by Toch. Rhinos do have one more substitution. Coach Lilly sees a need for it. Oh, we have a stoppage here. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Into the box. Headed away by Walls to Forbes. Touches it, but it's out of play. Canardo Forbes knocks this one into the Toronto bench.
Visit them for freshly made bread, baked goods, and more.
Osorio, Uccello, Fabrizi, and Rivas. Plays it across the field.
Toronto doing well. You can tell just watching the game. They're very eager to get into good spots. Everyone's moving, and it's paying off for them. They've found a nice little string of possession in the last few minutes.
Well, for the Rhinos, obviously a tune-up game for the playoffs. For Toronto, I mean, they're looking for spots on that first team, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a year-round thing for them, regardless of how they're doing in the league. The ultimate goal is, you know, for them not really to shine in the USL, but to really prove that they're worth contributing to the first team. So at all times, I mean, for them, games, training, how they carry themselves in and out of the locker room, everything's a test for them. So it's nice to see how they respond and if they can handle the pressure. That'll ultimately be
a lot of young players, and they've shown well.
Done well. They've shown maturity as a team in spurts and little flashes of brilliance. You can see why some of these players are on their radar and on the USL roster.
Uccello wearing the captain's armband tonight, only 17 years old. 2 subs coming on at the age of 16. Just kids, basically.
Yeah.
Getting their feet wet in the pro game. Play back to Walls. On the far side, Ugarte. Back to Ruggles. 83rd minute. Rhinos with the possession and with the lead. Voleski tees it up. The shot! It's a hard, low one, but right at DiBernardo. Osorio outside to Clady. Gets it back from Gaudinho. Chip forward, little chest pass for Bernal. Looking for some help and some movement off the ball. Not going to get it there as this one's popped up in the air. Toch battles for it. Bernal to Gaudinho. Gaudinho splits 2 Rhino players. Couldn't get around the third. As Ugarte gets it to Voleski. And Quick ball downfield by Ruggles. No harm there for Toronto. Well, with a couple minutes left in the match, my co-host will have to head down the field. You got some post-game festivities to take care of, don't you?
Yeah, I think we're doing a bit of a, I know we're doing a picture. I think there's a bit of a trophy, something going on with that thing over there. So just want to make sure.
Smile and look pretty.
That'll.
Unfortunate season for you. 4 games played, 1 assist in the regular season, but what, a week away from going at it again?
A week away from running, and I can't, even begin to explain how tremendous the experience has been for me. I think it's definitely an eye-opener. I feel like I just see the game differently now. Definitely a whole different perspective.
Well, that's because you've been up here with me.
Nah, it's been nothing but a blessing.
Samuels is in the 18. Left-footed shot in the back of the net. He's got his second of the season, and he may as well flip for joy in the 85th minute. It's 2-0 Rochester.
And that is just what Sonny Samuels can do for you. He's a dynamic player. He's a special player, and you need to play to his strengths, and that was it right there. You find him in a bit of space, leave him one-on-one, and let him absolutely torch the guy. He's done well there.
Again, time inside the 18. Rolfe had it on the first goal, and now on the second goal, Sonny Samuels has time, and he just buries this one to make it 2-0 in the 85th minute. Ball's played through to Samuels. And he gets the benefit of the deflection, but nonetheless, it's his second of the season, second of the game for the Rhinos. And there will be one final change here in the last game of the regular season. Forbes will come off, and Mulgrew will come on in the 85th minute. They're going to call that one unassisted for Samuels.
I don't think so. That was a fantastic pass all the way through. I think they'll want to change their mind on that one. That was a very calculated, weighted through ball. I think you can't really tell the difficulty of it because it was such a quick play, but it was a great ball.
Yeah, I agree. That probably will be changed. We'll erase the unassisted. And from the production trailer, they're saying it looks like it was Voleski who played the ball through to Samuels. If that is the case, Voleski's second or fourth assist of the season. Thanks to John Catalano, our eyes in the sky tonight, and our producer Pedro Ugalde. As it's Miller who picks it up. Pedro fresh back from producing a couple games down in Mexico. Good to have him on board and back home here in Rochester. Miller. Shove in the back. Still picked up, though, by Toronto. Osorio, 87th minute. Uccello back to Osorio. Rhinos lead this one 2-0. July 11th, the Rhinos picked up a 2-0 win up in Toronto. It was Dos Santos and Mendoza in that game. Today it's Rolfe and Samuels.
If I believe that was a Team of the Week performance by Anu Obasi coming down the flank. I think he got 2 assists in the span of, 2 or 3 minutes?
Obasi did pick up 2 assists in that game on July the 11th at the Ontario Soccer Center.
Played him 4 times, so it's tough to keep track.
Mulgrew's cross is deflected. No, you were right on the mark. July 11th, 2 assists for Ottawa. As Ruggles and the Rhinos in the 88th minute. Just minutes away from their 17th win. Voleski. Ball pops up in the air. Couldn't get the shot away. Osorio. Uccello. Rivas. Back to Uccello. And tried to keep it in. Couldn't. Out of space. Throwing for Obasi. Don't forget the all regular season and playoff games will be on YouTube, free and in HD. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. 88th minute. Ugarte has an assist on the goal from Rolfe in the 69th minute. Plays it to Toch. Now Bordeaux for Walls. There's the hustle here. He's got pressure. Takes a look. Avoids the pressure. Plays it forward, but taken away now for Osorio. Oh, I see those long legs able to slide in there.
Just was not even asked there. Just almost like he laid down and just grabbed it, said thank you.
Osorio went all the way to that far side for Godinho. He had a few players running down the middle, though. Picked up by Bernal. Service 4 white jerseys, only 1 for TFC2. Sonny Samuels. Ugarte. Timmy Mulgrew. That was Sonny Samuels, double teamed. Knocked off the ball, Ennen, and Toronto coming back the other way. Uccello. Looking for Phillip. Right behind him. In the 90th minute. Christian, my friend, smile good down there. Smile pretty.
I will. Cheers, Jeff.
Great job, Christian Silva. He'll join the boys, and they'll celebrate with a team photo and the regular season trophy in the USL, the championship trophy. Great job by Christian Silva all season long. Pleasure to work with him as he'll head down and get the jersey on, and he'll look pretty. Good ball forward, but it was just behind Asani Samuels. As we're in the 90th minute, Rhinos with 13 shots, 3 shots for Toronto. And corner kicks in favor of Rochester as well, 6-2. Here's Godinho. As we are approaching stoppage time, the Rhinos just minutes away from staying unbeaten at home in the regular season. They'll join Charleston, who are 8-0-6 at home. The Rhinos looking to go to 12-0-2 as we are in the stoppage time period. 1 minute called for by the 4th official, Lauren Dearman. Voleski off the head of Diaz. And the Rhinos with 2 goals in the second half. Rolfe and Samuels have the lead. And they're also looking for their 17th shutout of the season. So many numbers changing and records broken, as it's going to be Miller taking over Gallardo's 2011 mark of 0.68. He's at 0.56. That will drop tonight if he keeps the clean sheet, which he is just seconds away from doing. Obasi knocks it out of play. Don't forget the Rhinos home October the 3rd. They'll take on the winner of the New York-Pittsburgh playoff match. That is the 4th seeded New York Red Bulls and the 5th seeded Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Clady. And Toronto just knocking it around to Godinho. With the result, Toronto will end at 6-17-5. The Rhinos 17-1-10, and they'll jump up to 61 points. The closest team was 48 points, and that was Louisville City FC. And that brings this one to a close as a huge